Hi, I'm Lisa Dwyer, and thank you for watching Mortgage Saver. I'm here today not to sell you on how great I am or that I work for the best mortgage company, but to help you save money, understand all of the facets that revolve around a mortgage or finances. I'm really excited today. I have a very special guest with me, and we're going to talk about title and title insurance and quitclaim deeds and all kinds of very interesting information for you. Sometimes we get excited and we talk too much or too fast, and you might not understand something we said, but that's okay. You can call or email us, and we'll give you all the information. We have a transcript for today, so if there's anything that we miss or that you want information on, we'd be happy to help you. Today's special guest is Karen Popilek. Karen, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Karen works for Transnation Title. And how long have you been in the business?
25 years. I know, 25 years I've been doing title insurance. It's amazing how fast it has gone by.
Right, and I'm sure you have seen so many different
changes.
Changes, and really, just like the mortgage industry, every single deal is different, isn't it?
Every single one.
So you learn something as you go, and
you never stop learning. Every day, every deal, every transaction that you get, you always, there's the smooth ones that just happen, but then there's ones that you're like, you have to think and step back and kind of look and help people get to where they need to go to get to ownership of their home.
Right, and it's so important that you have title insurance. Is it a law that you have to have it?
I don't think it's a law, actually. Well, the mortgage companies, if you have a mortgage, absolutely, you have to have title insurance. If you're getting a mortgage, you have to have it because we insure the lenders. If you do a transaction amongst yourselves,
right.
I mean,
so if I was to purchase a home from you or whatever.
Yeah, if we did like a direct to each other,
right.
Family members, but there's a risk. There's always a risk because
right.
you want to have the policies.
Let's talk first exactly what is a title? I mean, we know what it is on a car, right? We get this little green paper
ownership.
And we're all excited, and so you own it.
You paid off your debt, right? You own it. And title insurance is similar. It's for your home. It's land, vacant land or your home. It's the land actually that your home is on, and it's the deed or title of how you own the property. So how you are stated at public record of how you own your property.
What's on a title? So like when you buy a car, you just see the vehicle ID, right?
Right.
The make, who was the last owner, things like that are on the title. Now on a mortgage, what exactly things are on a title?
There is the person, your name as owner, and then the person you purchased it from or the person you're selling it to, the legal description of your property, your tax ID number, and your commonly known address for the property. Right.
So if somebody wanted to know what their legal description was, because I know when you get your tax bill, it doesn't give the long.
Right.
It gives you a parcel.
If it's a lot and sub, it's an easy statement. It's like a one-liner. But if you have meets and bounds, which is a legal description that describes the entire property in length,
right?
You can go to your assessors, your township, the county, and you can get your full legal description from the public records. Everything's public records for what's on your house.
So when you're looking at something and you're like, what is this? 4.7 LGT from this and from that. It's this big on a piece of paper, and you're like, okay, I only have a half an acre. How can it be a paragraph long?
And it actually describes to the foot of how long the one side. If your acre is not just a perfect square, which most of them are not. Right. You have to describe how it lays out. If you have many acres, you can actually draw out great big boxes or triangles or whatever
Octagons.
they are. Octagons. That's I was trying to think of the next. Yeah.
All right. So how does an entity hold a title?
An entity as a business, there can be. If you have an LLC, you can put your company into incorporated or corporation. Trusts. There's lots of people who put their houses in trusts, their properties in trusts that they own.
Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
a lot of people have trusts, right?
Which is good.
And it's not the same as a will.
No, it's definitely not the same as a will. A will does not guarantee how you're getting your house. A will just states how you want it to happen.
Your wishes more.
Your wishes, yes, your wishes. A trust is actually your property is put into the trust, you deed into the trust.
So
the
your
trust-
title is
you're owned. The trust owns your title now. So now the trust is entitled, and the trust specifically states this property is in this trust, and this is who can sign for it.
very good.
And what's going to happen to it. Yes.
So what people need to understand the difference between a will and a trust. It's not the same thing.
It's not.
A will is really your wishes.
Yeah.
And if it's a recorded or notarized, stamped will, yeah, your wishes are granted upon your
Recognized,
upon
They don't,
your
and
death.
it won't avoid probate. Trusts will avoid probate.
Right.
So if you have your house and you own your house outright, and you have a will, it's not going to stop. It won't stop the probate.
Right.
You still have to go through probate, and then they say who the next of kin is to get it, and then the will they'll recognize it to say where it's supposed to go.
Sure. It's like I say, your wishes.
Your wishes,
It's not.
yeah.
Yeah, you
But
still
it's
have to
not.
go through all the motions to
Right.
get everything where it needs to go.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying a will is bad. A will is
No,
a
it's
wonderful thing.
Yeah.
You definitely want to have a will, but a trust really ensures that where the things that you want to be given to somebody or in someone else's name actually gets there.
Right. It specifically states what's going to happen to that
Without
property.
probate.
Right.
And probate can be really, really hard, especially when you've just already gone through a tragedy, right? Someone has passed away, and then you have to go through all of their belongings, and you know, it's just
It
the
can
trust.
be lengthy, and it's lengthy too. And when you think that you have the will, a lot of people think they have the will and they're good, and they say okay, and then you go to sell it, and then you find out no. If that person was entitled by themselves, and they passed away, you have to go through probate, and that's one thing people they don't
Right.
count on that. They're thinking,
Right.
oh, we're
Is
good
that
to go. We have
costly? Is probate costly?
It can be. It can be because if you have an attorney involved, when you get to an attorney, which is really the best way to do it, they have to reach out to every kin. So every person, your husband or wife or sister, all the sister brothers, all their kids.
And then there could be some disputing.
Yes, people
Watch
can.
out, the
yes.
McCoys and the Hatfields.
Right, exactly. It can happen. I've seen it happen. I mean, usually the families, they get together and they see what mom's or grandma's wishes were in
Right.
the will. But then there's
always
that
that
one that's like, oh, grandma didn't do this the right way. Well, what can I get out of this?
Right.
Unfortunately.
Oh,
but, yeah,
gosh,
it
that's
does happen.
horrible. And how sad. It's such a tragic time.
It is. And people, they should honor their wishes. They really should. Find it
Right.
in themselves to do the right thing.
Right,
But
right.
it happens.
All right, we have a lot to talk about today. I am very excited. Karen, thank you so much. And we'll be right back. We're going to talk about quitclaim deeds and setting up a trust and all of that. So we'll see you in just a minute.
We own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
Thanks for watching. I'm Lisa Dwyer. This is Mortgage Saver, and I'm here with Karen Popilek, and we are talking about title and title insurance and trust and quitclaim deeds and all kinds of stuff that is so confusing to the public when you're not working with it every day. So again, thanks for coming. And we talked a little bit about trust and how do entities hold their title. Are there other ways that people can hold title?
There's actually different ways to state your title. So you own it as an individual. You always state, for men, very important, their marital status has to be stated. Whenever a man owns title, if he's a single man, fun things change after you get married. If you're
That's
married,
just one of the things.
that's one of the things we can talk about, yeah. And then the married man, and that you state your marital status is one thing that states, and then you can be in tenants in common or full rights of survivorship on tenants in entireties, joint tenants,
Wow.
There's different
That is a
things.
lot. And I said that in the beginning. If you want more information, we'll have Karen's information at the bottom of the screen. You can write, you can call 248-627-7283 and get a hold of me directly. I can get you over to Karen. We can give you the information because it is, I mean, you've had how many years? 20-something years experience?
25 years experience of.
It's very confusing. I mean, I've done mortgages for 15 years and still I just let the title experts do what they do and check the titles
Thank
and
you.
make sure that everything is right, and I trust them. And they're always there for you if you ever have a need or need advice or just not sure what to do with your title.
It is. I have. It's good when people call and I have a lot of people that call and just general questions. Hey, this is what's happening in our life now. How does this affect this? Which is fantastic, and I love when people call and ask questions.
Right, because isn't it easier to
get it done
plan
right
it?
the first time? Get it done right the first time. Plan it, and then, I mean, it's fantastic when you see an attorney. 99% of the time, they will get everything laid out for you.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
there's lots of people that don't. So.
Now, we mentioned a little bit about when a husband gets title. Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, so I'm single. I get married, and I know women and men, and we have to tell you guys, women
Totally different.
prevail again. No, I'm kidding. Women have such a different rule than men do when it comes to title, and it's crazy. You know, in Michigan, and every state's different, right?
Every state's different. There's different laws. There's different ownerships and different. What's the word? Obligations? I don't know if that's the right thing, but the further south you go, the less rights women have. That is how in the title industry.
Go
I know.
Michigan.
I know, right? We're like a happy medium right there. It's great because if a female owns property and she's single, and then she gets married, it doesn't change. The woman always owns her property as her. So Lisa Dwyer always owns her property no matter what. However, if a man owns property and he's single, okay, so John Smith, a single man, owns 123 Main Street, and then he gets married to Susie Q. Susie Q automatically attaches to that title. He gets right there, 50%
I'm
is hers.
I know it's not.
I know, it is the old laws that are still in effect. There is, I've heard, I don't know if it's true, I've never looked, but there is supposed to be litigation going on to change that and even it out a bit for the men. There's still the laws in place that were back in the day when we went to school and we came out of high school or graduated from school, you got married, you had the kids, you stayed at home, and the men took care of you. Well, that doesn't happen anymore, and women are much more independent now. And the men, I mean, men cannot sell property without their wives.
Right, but I could go and buy a piece of property and not have my husband there to sign.
Absolutely. You can buy and sell. You can buy and sell without your husband all day long. Men cannot. They can buy without their wife. They cannot sell without their wife. The wife has to sign.
Wow.
Yeah. I always say, what's mine is mine. What's yours is mine. It's true. In Michigan, it is a true statement for the men in property.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I know.
Yeah, we didn't make the rules.
We didn't.
Right?
We just follow them.
We just followed them. Yeah, I have a lot of people that come to me, and the husband's the one that's the go-getter and wants to go and buy some, investment properties and buy this. And I'm like, well, does your wife know? Does she know what you're doing? Well, no, but she's okay with it. Or yeah, it's not a problem. Well, she has to sign everything.
Yeah, she has. And
she doesn't have to be on the mortgage, but she'll have to be at the closing. She has to sign. And does that go into dowry rights and things like that?
Yeah, it's the dowry rights for the female that attaches when they buy. So after he buys it, her dowry rights automatically attach, no matter, there's no questions asked. We always, when he goes to sell it, and I get that all the time. The men, even when the men buy it, and he says, it's my investment, it's my company, it has nothing to do with her. Sorry, it does, because women automatically attach to men's property.
Right.
Hands down.
Right.
It's
crazy.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we talked a little bit about that. We talked about trust a little bit, but there's different kinds of trust. Like talk about trust so that people understand the importance of them.
The trusts are, it's a safety. So you own property, you put yourself into a trust, you state all your property owned, and you assign successor trustees. So you are usually the trustee, you and your spouse are the trustees,
Right.
and then the successor trustees are usually either a sibling or a child, if they're of legal age, 18 or older.
Okay.
And the trust protects you from probate. So everything goes directly into the trust, It's specifically stated what happens to the property that you own it, and then if one of you passes, the trust stays in effect. The successor trustee can still sell and do what they're going to do with the property.
Okay.
If you don't have it in a trust, and if you're just an individual, if it's stated that you're husband and wife, and the husband passes away, the property automatically goes to the wife. But if, God forbid, both of them pass on, probate has to happen before anybody in the family can do anything with it.
Right.
So the trusts protect from going from probate, and
does it?
avoiding.
Is it? Okay? So I've done a will, and you fill out the forms. Is it? Tell me about how to do. Like, is it easy? Do you get a lawyer involved? Is it something that title company does? Talk about that.
No, title companies cannot do wills or trusts. Absolutely not. Nowadays, there's LegalZoom. I'm sure people have done trusts. They go onto the web and do all that internet things and can do their own. But it's the best to go to an attorney, because you can sit there, you talk with your attorney
about your wishes,
and what you want, and they'll set up the trust for you. And they give you a whole questionnaire and everything that says they ask you questions that you don't even think about, which is what you need.
Oh, that happened when I did my will. I was like, what?
Yeah, you don't think about it. The internet can't ask you questions.
Right.
So go to an attorney. You go see them. They will bring you all the information. You can fill it all out. They'll ask you all the questions, and then you can get it put into effect. And then they will also do the deeds to put any properties you have into the trust.
Right. So you can do more than one property in a trust. You can do.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You
don't need several trusts.
No,
you need one.
No, we
and,
own
and do you know how often? Are you supposed to get it updated, or just as your wishes change?
Yeah.
Have you done trusts that were so old that it was like almost obsolete?
Yes. Well, and they're not obsolete. However, they're so old, we do have to do a certificate of trust. So when a deed trust comes to you, and you're doing a real estate transaction, we as the title company ask for a certificate of trust. And what this states is that person is saying, yes, this trust is still in full force and effect.
So there's not another one to replace it.
Right. There's no changes. And I've had those too, where I've had the one trust and then they're like, oh, well, this one replaced that trust. So then you're scanning through everything to make sure the original one states that, yes, this one states, and references back to the original one to make sure that that states that this is taking place of this. And you have to always state that it's in full force and effect, because if, let's say you assign somebody as a trustee or a successor trustee, and that person you don't even talk to anymore.
Right.
That happens a lot, because then that's a problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
And now, you have attorneys on staff, or what do you have so that people can look? Because I'm sure you're busy doing all these other things. You don't sit down and really review line by line.
The title companies do review the trust themselves. What we need for the transaction is the first page that states the name of the trust, who the trustees are, the power page, which is a power section in the trust that states specifically in the trust, this person has the power to, and it has to say sell, mortgage, disperse. It has to state these things that can happen with a real estate transaction.
Right.
And then it has to also have the real estate section that states that obviously that property is in the name of the trust. Wow. And then the signature page. So we can review and pull out what we need, and then we attach it to the certificate of trust.
There is so much information, and we talk fast, and I know that that this is probably, for those of you who are trying to understand all of this, it is so confusing. We will have this all written out for you. If you would like the information, please, you can email me at mtgsaver mortgagesaver@gmail, and or call 248-627-7283. We're going to talk a little bit about a quick claim deed. We're going to talk about power of attorney. I think we need to mention that.
Yes.
And stay with us. We'll be right back.
Please remember that CFL bulbs, those curly, energy-efficient light bulbs everybody is using to save electricity, shouldn't be thrown away in your trash. Neither should batteries or home medical sharps. You can check with your local community to see where they can be recycled. Some retailers will allow you to bring them in for recycling. You can also order simple kits online that allow you to collect your recyclables and simply mail them away to be properly recycled. This green tip was brought to you by your friends at Waste Management.
Thanks for watching. I'm Lisa Dwyer with Mortgage Saver. I'm so excited about today's show. We're learning so much about trust and marital status when you're buying a home, and just so much information. So Karen, thanks again for being here. Let's talk real quick about power of attorney.
Power of attorney, very powerful little document. Power of attorneys people give when obviously they can't attend a closing.
Right.
You have to, we at title companies, we have property specific. So our power of attorneys will state specifically only for that property can this power of attorney be used. Mortgage companies, if you're doing a refinance or a purchase, they have to approve of the power of attorney. Mortgage companies want to see that power of attorney. They have to have it in order, and it has to be approved before we can do a closing period.
Right, and a power of attorney, really in layman terms, right, is just giving you authorization to sign or do some kind of process, whatever it is. It could be, on their behalf. So it could be buying a mortgage, selling a mortgage, anything like that.
Property,
and not anybody can just fill out a power of attorney. I mean, it has to be notarized. It's a legal document.
It is.
That really gives up your rights and gives all of your power to another person.
To the other person that's going to be signing for you.
Right.
So yes,
and it's good for people that live out of state and they're trying to do a transaction. It's good for elderly people who want their daughter or son or somebody.
To take care of, and whoever has, is handling their business or the finances for them. Yeah, if they can't get out, if they're not very mobile. Most title companies will go see the people though, for if necessary, but power attorneys are very handy for the people who can't get around so quickly.
Right. And most of the time it's family members?
Most of the time,
Do you see?
yes.
Yeah.
I have seen a few give, like real estate agents or people that know what they're doing. Some of them even give their attorneys power of attorney, to do the transactions for them. Yeah,
right. Is there anything unique about setting up a title to a trust, or is that just a standard when a title is put in a trust, that just means that property, I guess, is in the trust?
Right.
Is there anything that is, is it just having the trust and then putting it into effect, or
you have to record a deed. So you have to do a quitclaim deed. So when you go to the attorney and they fill out the trust for you and you get it all executed, they will also do a quitclaim deed, putting every single property that you listed in that trust into the trust. So if you own 5 houses, there will be a quitclaim deed that you would sign for each house, and it puts it straight into that trust.
Okay. Now, the last thing we'll probably talk about, because I know we're running out of time, what is a quitclaim deed? People here, and what do they call them?
They call them quick claim deeds, and they're quit, Q-U-I-T, quit claim deed, meaning you're quitting your ownership and you're giving it to another. Yes, and they are specifically used there for, I like to see them only for from you to you and your wife or husband, from you to your trust, from you to your company entity. When you're still an owner, we in the title world, we prefer warranty deeds when it's changing ownership to ownership. Warranty deeds warrant and guarantee the information is true to knowledge, and yet you are the person that should be transferring. Quitclaim deeds are they're just that. They're just a deed saying, yep, Susie Q is giving it to Barbie.
Right.
It's just a quit.
For example, I had just ordered one through you. It was a friend of mine. His grandfather and grandmother lived in this home. He passed away, and they both owned title to the house. They both were on the mortgage. They both owned title. And when Grandpa passed away, Grandma had a hard time living alone.
Right.
So the grandson moved in. He's making the payments. He's living there. He's taking care of everything.
Yes, do the quitclaim deed, and we went from Grandma to Grandma and grandson.
So we had to give you a certified copy of the death certificate.
Because that gets recorded with it.
The mortgage, so you know who was on the mortgage, a copy of that, their driver's license.
Right.
And then you guys will prepare the document.
Have the document, the quitclaim deed prepared, and then they'll come in and sign. And
would it be better to do the warranty one for that, or?
I mean, that one's not necessarily, because you're still keeping Grandma in title.
Yes.
She's just adding another person.
Yes. So we're removing the grandfather who's deceased, adding on the grandson who's living there now with him.
Yeah.
Yep. So and then you give me back the quitclaim deed, and then they sign it, have it notarized, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And then they can take it to the county to get recorded, or they can bring it back to us and we'll record it for them. If they come to our office, we can sign with them and notarize, and we'll make ssure it gets to the county to get on record. Because you want it to be recorded in the county where the property is located.
And how long does that usually take?
Oh, it depends on which county you're in. There's some of them. I mean, we can walk to the county, you go in, and you have it there that same day. E-recording is phenomenal now. You can go there and it's 24, 48 hours, and you can get a recorded copy back. But if you just send it out and have it done, on average, you're waiting 4 to 6 weeks to see it back and to see it as live.
And the cost of that?
Quitclaim deed is, they're $14 any page, $14 for the first page, $3 for each additional page.
And that's to have it recorded?
That's to have it recorded at the county.
And then you'll see whatever
whatever
page.
Book. Yep. To see where instrument number, depending on what county you're in.
Well, is there anything else that you think is really important just to give and if you would, I'd love to have you back on the show.
I would love to. This was a lot of fun, and I think it's so important. There's so many questions that people ask these things, and this is a great way to get to people and educate them.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we could talk about.
Buyers are they're so much more savvy now, which is fantastic.
Right, educated. Yes,
right.
We love that.
Asking
I love
questions.
that.
So when I get those questions, I'm like, I get so impressed now. And when they're 10 years younger than me, I'm like, oh my gosh, when did that happen?
Well, thanks so much for being on the show. And I just want to reiterate this, that we are here to not try to, we want you to use Transnation Title, but we want to help educate the community. I feel like this is a great community service. I feel that helping people understand all of the things that surround their mortgage and their money, and your mortgage is and probably always will be your biggest asset. And I just feel that the more educated you are and the more you understand everything. I've got an appraiser coming in. I've got a survey company coming in. I've got an inspector. I would love to have Karen back, and I really hope that this helped you out, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.